Hi and welcome back to Canada Top to Bottom. As we've mentioned before, there are so many different options for moving to Canada on both a temporary and a permanent basis. Right now, I think there are close to 100 pathways for immigration. Some are permanent programs, some are temporary pilot programs, and others are targeting specific occupations, and others are open to all applicants.
Most people don't realise just how many different routes there are available for individuals with a wide range of experience, skills and backgrounds. Along with childhood educators, health professionals and tech workers, another very in-demand occupation in Canada right now is caregivers. So today we're talking about what options there are available to come to Canada as a caregiver and how to find caregiver jobs.
To begin, there are two immigration pilot programs available to caregivers, which were opened in 2019 on a 5-year pilot scheme. These are the Home Childcare Provider Pilot and the Home Support Worker Pilot. Both of these programs are designed to help foreign workers who are skilled and experienced home childcare providers and home support workers move to Canada with their families and gain permanent residency more quickly and easily than applying through the more traditional immigration routes such as express entry.
There are a number of great benefits with both these programs. Firstly, the language requirement is pretty low at just CLB level 5, and secondly, you don't need any prior experience, and thirdly, you as the applicant can bring your family members with you and they will be able to apply for either work or study visas. Your dependent children can attend school in Canada for free, and your spouse will receive an open work permit, meaning that they can work for any employer in any role. Even if you don't have any qualifying work experience, you can still apply for permanent residence in Canada through either the Home Childcare Provider Pilot or the Home Support Worker Pilot, provided you meet the other eligibility requirements.
After just 2 years of working in Canada, you will be able to apply for permanent residence. It's worth mentioning that both programs have a cap for applicants, meaning that they can only accept a certain number of applicants each year. So the best time to apply would be at the start of the year. However, you can apply anytime provided there are spaces. The programs stay open until the limit is reached.
To start with, let's look at the difference between the two caregiver programs. A home childcare provider means caring for children under the age of 18 in your own home or in your employer's home and helping with household duties. However, you don't need to live in your employer's home to qualify for the program. It's probably important to point out here that prior experience as a foster parent doesn't count towards work experience here. Examples of people who may wish to apply for the home childcare provider are babysitters, au pairs, living caregivers, or nannies.
A home support worker means you will be caring for someone who needs help either in your own home or in your employer's home. And again, you don't need to live in your employer's home to qualify. This may be helping elderly people, people with disabilities or in rehabilitation, and typical duties will be preparing meals, feeding, bathing, giving medication and basic housekeeping. Useful to know here is that prior experience as a housekeeper doesn't count towards the work experience requirement here. Examples of people who may wish to apply to the Home Support Worker Programme are family caregivers, home support workers, personal care attendants, respite workers or home visitors.
Now let's look at the requirements for both these programs in detail. The first thing to point out is that for both programs you will need a valid job offer in order to be eligible to apply. The job offer must be full-time, which means at least 30 hours of paid work each week. It must be from a Canadian employer and it must be genuine, which means that the employer has proved that there is a real need to hire you.
There is no specific work experience requirement for these pilot schemes. However, you do need to show that you will be able to do the work. The programs look at any past experience or training that you may have had in order to decide whether you will be able to do the work described in the job description. For the Home Childcare Provider Pilot, if you can show past experience or training in childcare or home support, this will support your application. And for the Home Support Worker Pilot, past experience or training in home management would be beneficial.
As we mentioned earlier, you will need to take a language test in either English or French. to show that you have achieved at least a CLB level 5 in all 4 abilities: speaking, listening, reading and writing. Take a look at our video on language tests for more information on the levels and the tests available. With regards to education requirements, you must have completed at least 1 year of post-secondary education. If your education wasn't completed in Canada, you will need to have it officially assessed to make sure it's equal to a Canadian post-secondary education credential of at least 1 year.
If your application is successful, you will be given an occupation restricted open work permit, which means that you can work as a caregiver for any employer. This is much more flexible than an employer-specific work permit, as you have the freedom to change employers within the same field of employment. This work permit will provide you with the work experience you need to qualify for permanent residence. The great thing about this work permit is that your employer does not need an LMIA, or Labour Market Impact Assessment, in order to hire you, and you are permitted to change employers without the need to apply for a new work permit or get a new job offer.
This is a step-by-step process of how both programs work. Firstly, you apply to the program of your choice, either the Home Childcare Provider Pilot or the Home Support Worker Pilot, and submit a work permit application and an application for permanent residence at the same time. Provided you meet the requirements, you will receive a work permit to come to Canada and work temporarily. After a minimum of 24 months working, you will be able to apply for permanent residence in Canada, along with your family members. Another great benefit of this scheme is that the 24 months of work experience doesn't need to be continuous, just 24 months in total.
Okay, so hopefully that has explained the eligibility requirements for both the Home Childcare Provider Pilot and the Home Support Worker Pilot programs. We have put the links to both programs in the description box below, which include all the details on how to apply and what happens after you apply. Hit subscribe before you go for quality videos on moving to Canada every Wednesday and Sunday, and we'll see you next time.